Hello, polyclinic physicians. It was good seeing you all today. And I'm following up because we ran out of time before we could get to what actually may be the most helpful tool, and why I didn't put it first, I don't know. But this involves the knife that I was going to pull on all of you. I had it in my bag, in my possession, ready to go and ready to make a very, very important point. Now, what I love about this, what I'm about to unpack for you, is the simplicity of the knife, and therefore how easy it is to remember this one. This knife is really symbolic of what I call the victim-owner distinction. And I'll get into that a little bit now. And yes, that is a stuffed avocado sitting behind me, in case you're wondering. So, all right. On any given day, we're going to be faced with situations that are not to our liking. They're not to our liking. Either they're ongoing and not to our liking, they're a surprise and they're not to our liking. And this could involve things like getting a harsh email from a colleague that's been CC'd to 66,000 people in the organization. It could be having a particularly angry patient. It could be some sort of policy change that you feel is unfair and that you can't do anything about, or you feel you can't do anything about it. It might be having a colleague that goes unexpectedly on leave, or a conflict with a spouse, or taking some financial hit. The list goes on and on. So these situations are like this knife. How? Here's how. So imagine if someone were throwing this knife in your general direction, right? Just sort of tossing it in your direction. So there are two ways that you can catch this knife. Two ways. Number one, you can catch it by the blade, which, ouch, that hurts. Or you can catch it by the handle. And by the way, I'm not messing around. This is a real knife. It's got a sharp-ish blade on it, so this is no toy. So there are two ways to catch this knife. And the bottom line is, with any of those situations that I just mentioned, there are two ways to approach any undesirable situation. Any undesirable situation. Any. One is to grab it by the blade. And what does that sound like? When I grab the knife by the blade, I'm reacting. And I'm assuming the victim role. And I don't mean that in a pejorative way. We all fall into this. But it sounds like, I can't take this. Why is this happening to me? This is something I'm now going to have to get through or get over, or this is so unfair and I can't do anything about it, or can you believe that this happened? Or, you know, there's a certain type of reaction and a certain type of verbiage that goes along with it. All right, so that's reacting. We all do it. We do it frequently. Now, the handle is ownership. So this is what the handle sounds like. How can I use this? How can I use this situation in the service of my own highest good? And this is not a Pollyanna question, right? But what happens if I pick this knife up by the handle and I ask, how can I use this situation? Now I have a tool. I've turned this thing that was scary and ominous and it was going to cut me and was going to bleed all over the place. And now I am intentionally using it in the service of my own good. So maybe that's developing more patience and compassion towards my colleague. Maybe that's gaining more mastery with respect to angry patients that come in, because the better I get at dealing with them, the easier it is down the road. Maybe by facing this situation now, I'm saving myself a ton of trouble down the road. Maybe this situation that I don't like, in terms of a policy, for example, is giving me the opportunity to be assertive and advocate in a way that may not be comfortable for me, but that's important for my own personal growth. So this is the handle. This is ownership. The reality is one way hurts, one way doesn't, and there are only two options. Now, I will end with this. I've never gotten to wave a knife around in a video. This is fantastic. I will end with this, and I literally do mean this. The understanding of this distinction and this question of how can I use this, and the other way of asking the question is, how do I want to grab this knife, by the blade or the handle? But it was really driven home to me when I was actually going through this and unpacking it with a lot of coaching clients, and I was holding this knife regularly. There is something about the kinesthetic visual experience of literally holding the knife that drives the point home. So I want you, like now or as soon as possible, to go find a big scary knife, and I want you to hold it like this. And when you get stuck in a situation that you don't know how to handle and you're stewing over it, I want you to go find that knife, pick it up, and put it in your palms, because that will give you the clarity to know and see and understand that you can respond in a different way. So this knife is your friend. So make good use of it and have fun. And any questions or comments, or if you want to complain that you felt threatened, feel free to email me, kelly@kellygupta.com. All right, cheers.